Okay, this is my Royal Enfield Classic 500. I have deregistered the bike and it's ready for export from Dubai to the Netherlands. I removed the luggage cases or the panniers so I can wash the bike properly. As you can see, the bike has a few dings and dents. That's what you get from taking the bike off-road, but other than that, it's in near perfect condition. The mileage, 13,404 kilometers. That's about, what is that, 8,000 miles, between 7 and 8,000 miles roughly. Okay, let's fire her up. I'm gonna do something I never ever do. Let's try the Kickstarter. Ooh, very close. Let's try that again. I need to put my phone down. There is some technique to it. You can tell that I never kickstart my bike, but it takes over. So I want to talk through some of the modifications I've made to this bike, because as you can tell, it's not a stock bike anymore. The first thing I did was change out the tires. This is my second set of tires that I have on the bike. These are quite chunky tires, 110, 80, 19 inch. For those of you wondering, they do not fit. I had to cut the original fender to make room for the bigger tire, until I realized later that the Euro spec models of the Enfield have already a cut made in the fender from the factory, so it's pre-cut. So what I did was I ordered a new fender from Royal Enfield and I swapped it out with the one that I cut by hand, and it looks like it's stock right now. These are Shinko's E804. Okay, and in the back I have Shinko's E805, and the tire size in the rear is also chunky, super chunky actually, 120, 90, 18 inch. Now normally this is already too big of a tire size, not because of the rim but because of the clearance it has with the fender. As you can tell, it's very, very close to the fender now, and yet it doesn't make contact, so it's still yeah, it's pretty good. After some wear and running them in, I have full confidence in these tires. These are really good. It also helps that I've put some aftermarket Icon shock absorbers. These are 10 millimeters taller than the stock shock absorbers, and they have about the same travel, but yeah, it gives a bit more clearance. So what else did I do? Yeah, I removed the rear. I removed the pillion seat, and I put this rear rack, which is an original Royal Enfield part. I bought that online. I bought it at the same time with these pannier frames, because I have the original Pegasus style, dispatcher style panniers. I'll do a separate review of those later on. What else did I do? Yep, so Obviously, I put the bash plate on. I like to take the bike on some, some fire trails, dirt trails. I've taken it on a serious off-road trip only once with some guys who ride some pretty capable machines, KTMs, and other enduro style bikes. I'm not gonna say that it was the ideal tool for the job, but it stood its ground. It did it. A lot of it, of course, is not the bike but the rider, but I'm not gonna brag or anything. It helped that I had a few enduro lessons before, some time ago. So what else? What brings me to this engine guard. I had a few questions about that engine guard. The engine guard was gifted to me by a friend, Sheesh. He has a Royal Enfield 500 as well, Classic 500, but he bought a Harley Davidson Iron and he's not riding his Enfield that much anymore. And he gifted me that beautiful leg guard. I wasn't a fan of leg guards to begin with, but after some time and looking around, I decided that I like the looks of this particular one. And it was already cheaply or easily painted in green. I decided to redo the job, and I had to modify a few brackets to make it fit in conjunction with the bash plate. So I created a spacer there, and it all seems to work fine. Some of you might wonder, why is my horn there? Well, normally there's a bracket right here. The bracket broke off. There is a special slot in the frame already, and this horn just screwed in. Easy as that. What else do we have? Well, I've got the obvious ram mount, and I have here a switch for my auxiliary bait style light. I bought that off of eBay or whatever website. It was very cheap. I bought the bracket for this is usually used on 4x4s, four-wheel drive cars, to hold LED light bars. Well, it holds onto the bike really nicely. So yeah, there's that. Aesthetic wise, what else did I change? Yep, I replaced the original handlebar that came with the Classic 500 with a set of the old style Bullet. Now you may have noticed that these handlebars are a bit taller, and they are a bit taller, and it just makes for riding and standing a little bit more easier, and it also adds just a little bit more comfort than the lower handlebars. I have to say that the lower handlebars do inspire a sportier ride style, but then again, look at the bike. Really, it's not the fastest bike anyway, so it's fine. I'm very happy with these handlebars. They are cheap Indian-made handlebars, but they're up for the task, and I'm comfortable with them. Okay, now that brings me to the more important mods. I'll start with what you can see on the outside. This header, exhaust header, and that muffler are all free flow. I bought the header from Hitchcock's Motorcycles in the UK, and I bought that exhaust from a representative of Gursawak here in Dubai. Gursawak is an Indian brand, Indori style exhaust, bottle style exhaust. There are a lot of good quality and bad quality ones. I believe this is the better quality ones because it has a few Allen bolts at the end cap that I can remove, and I can refill the exhaust with fiberglass if needed. So I'm very satisfied with that fact. Downside is, because of the shaking and the rattling, I lost two of the Allen bolts that go here, and I had to replace them with some generic ones. So yeah, that happens. Engine wise, okay, I have inside here a K&N air filter. I'm not going to open it, you'll just have to take my word for it. I have competition race valves with dual rated valve springs. Alright, race valves, race springs. There are performance cams in the bike, sharper cams, allowing for a higher rev and a little bit more peak performance. The push rods are racing specs. I got a 535 piston and cylinder in there right now, with a forged piston. it's not a higher compression piston, so the compression ratio is very similar to stock. What else do I have? Yeah, I have a Power Commander 5 unit, which has a custom map. It's right in there. It has a custom map for this bike, but the custom map does need some more fine-tuning. But I have a place I can go to in the Netherlands where they are specialized in tuning bikes. What else? Oh yeah, this one, the heel toe shifter classic. The bike came with only a toe shifter. I swapped it out for a heel toe one. Yeah, so let's see, the luggage racks, or the panniers, the bags. I'll tell you what I think of them. They're okay. They're a bit it's a bit of a fiddle to open and close them, and they need to be full to maintain their shape. They're water repellent but not waterproof, so if you're riding in a country where it rains a lot, or you know, it's a rainy season, you might want to use plastic bags inside, but they look really sweet on the bike. All right, performance wise, I don't know. Stock, the bike has on paper 26 or 27 horsepower. That's at the crank. From experience, I think it's closer to 18, 19 horsepower on the rear wheel, which isn't a lot. That's from the factory. As it is now, I have no clue. I think it has between 25 and 30 horsepower on the rear wheel right now. That's very realistic. And about 30 to 35 foot-pounds of torque, not more than that. Let's talk about the bad things, the things that make you go, obvious one right now, which I see straight away, is this one. The fender stay broke off. I had to get it welded. I still need to paint it, but yeah, that sucks. I've had an engine mount bolt. I don't know if you can see it. It's right here. This one completely sheared off because of the vibrations. I've lost countless small bolts that hold the exhaust, for example. I lost a few bolts that hold the leg guard. I had to tighten a lot of nuts. There's the engine head mount here. This is a new part. The original one broke off twice. I got it welded twice, so that sucks. When I first bought the bike, it had low mileage, but I think there was some gunk in the fuel tank or in the fuel system, so I swapped everything out that has to do with the fueling system. That's a fuel pump, injector, throttle body, fuel lines. I changed the battery twice since I've owned the bike, so that's not great. That has more to do with the weather and the climate we're in. I live in Dubai right now, and the weather is just too hot. So yeah, those are the things that I'm not super duper satisfied with, or things that broke off. I lost a nut here once while I was riding. It just because of the vibrations, it came undone, and I had a loose foot peg, which was horrible. There are countless of other nuts and bolts that need to retighten ever so often. I have to say that I do ride my bike hard. I don't ride it gently, I just ride it hard. Now, it does mean that after some time, probably sooner than later, I'll need to change the crankcase bearings, which I'm planning for. I'm anticipating for those. Just so the moment that goes, then I'll put a long stroke kit in it. Long stroke, 612 cc's. Right now it's 535 cc's. What else will I do? I don't know. I think I'll make some smaller adjustments as well. I might increase the compression ratio. I'm thinking of flowing the head. Maybe, just maybe, put a 2 mil larger throttle body on there, slightly bigger injector, upgrade the fuel pump and add a fuel pressure regulator, and then have everything tuned on the dyno. I'm considering putting a smaller primary drive here. You know, I think it's got 17 tooth right now, 17 teeth. I might go up to 18, which allows for a bit more cruising. I'm not sure about that because I like the pulling power it has right now. So that's it. That's my bike. I hope you enjoyed the video. I know I enjoyed making it, and yeah, happy days.